Welcome to week 2. This is Yogi's video only. So we've been working on a lot of different concepts, mostly again the satelliting behavior, staying close. We do this alone, we do this with a group of dogs, as you can see here. So this is where we're walking outside to go potty. We also go in the backyard too. So he's learning the difference between when he goes on his own how to be quickly, and whenever we go out together how to be fast as far as pottying goes too. Initially we start out with the dogs on their own so there's no distractions, but then we start adding in other dogs just so they get some distractions and they learn how to focus on what their job is. Right now the job is very simple. It's just potty outside versus inside and potty quickly. There is a cold front blowing through right now, which is why I'm bundled up, and the dogs are a little more excited. So anytime Yogi comes to me, I'm going to pet him, and I'm going to make sure I can hold him. I'm going to make sure I restrain him. I'm going to make sure he's happy with that, and then I let him go. The Papillon is about a week ahead of where Yogi is. So if you notice, Yogi runs up towards the camera. The Papillon does too, but the Papillon comes back faster. He just had an extra week of the satellite quote-unquote training. So here Yogi is working on those elements. So he was way up at the garage. Once he made eye contact with me, I asked him to come to me, and he did. Again, we start with these things very, very small in the house, and then we can work up. That's probably like a 50-foot recall, so that was really good. Again, I pet him until he relaxed with it, and that was it. So I don't mind him jumping up on me right here because I do hold him until he relaxes and he gets down. He's just exuberant and excited to come to me, so the last thing I want to do is say, ooh, I don't like you jumping on me and showing your excitement. Here he comes back on his own, and so I'm encouraging him with that. Again, if you notice, the Papillon's not straying very far from me. I don't insist that they be right with me all the time. And so Yogi's heading in that direction, and that's what our goal is. They can run around, but they need to check in. And so every time he checks in, I'm going to pet him. Here they're playing a little bit, so I just ignore him. And again, the Papillon checks back in right here, and Yogi catches on faster, so that's good. So here I pet him for that. What I'm going to move into doing here shortly is I'm going to start rewarding the Papillon because he's been very, very good at working very hard to stay with me. And here Yogi starts getting a little pushy, and so I ignore Yogi until he puts his feet on the ground, and then I'm going to pet him. So the jumping up thing, I don't mind it in certain circumstances, but the rest of the time if it's for attention or something like that, I don't want them doing that. And so we're working on teaching him that, because impulse control has been something that's a little bit of an issue with Yogi. He's just such a happy little guy, and he likes to tell you about it. He likes to tell you when he's not happy. He likes to tell you when he's frustrated. So really 90% of what we've worked on this week, I would say, is barking. And right now we're pretty much, he's not barking at all, maybe a little bit outside, but not very much. It'll just be like one woof. So I'm very pleased with that progress. And so again, here we're just kind of working on things, seeing if he gets distracted. There he plays with the leaves a little bit. He runs around. If you notice, the other two dogs have just kind of pottied and they're waiting to see what happens next. Here I'm just going to see what happens when the two puppies go off by themselves. They have a choice. And so here I'm just making some noises. Pup, 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 pup. The Papillon comes back. And ideally I would have liked to have really rewarded him here, but I'm just checking to see what Yogi's doing because I want to get that eye contact. And as soon as I've got the eye contact, then I can invite him into me. And so here we've got that, and I pick him up. Again, I'm restraining him right here. I know it looks like just like hugging, but I just want to make sure he understands that this is a really good thing. Restraining's great. And so here I'm going to walk back with him while he's being restrained, and you'll notice that he's floppy, he's happy, there's no big deal with that. So now we're going to go inside after pottying because again it's cold, and we just go into the kitchen. And so here what I'm trying to do is, it's similar to what we've been doing with Lucy, which is eat the cookie out of my hand. Keep trying to get the cookie out of my hand. And so Yogi, he can go into my cupped hand, which I really like that a lot. Here you'll see the cupped hand. Again, we're working on the distraction training, so it's twofold. Will Yogi keep doing this exercise with the distraction, and will the Papillon yield basically to me working with that? And so while you see me luring him into different positions here, the goal isn't really for him to sit, it's for him to keep working. And so even though we got the sit, you'll notice now it's really hard for him to keep pushing his little nose into my hand and keep working for the cookie. And so here I'm just going to find a point where he does try a little bit harder, and then we'll end with that. So here I'm luring him downward, getting him used to what I would use to teach him how to down, how to stand. But again, I can't really do any of that if I don't have him eating out of my hand. And again, I want the focus work. And so even though the Papillon is trying to get my attention and get cookies, He's not touching us, he's just working around us, and Yogi's having to focus on what I'm doing. So I'm happy with this, but again, he just needs to get a little bit mentally stronger. And see here, it's just, he's like, it's too hard to go up like that. So here I'm just looking for any kind of good thing to end on. And again, just positioning. Will he go to the right? Will he go down a little bit? And then here I'm going to reward him with an okay, and I'm going to put my hands on him, and I'm going to make sure that he's very okay with staying in our space. The book that closely follows what we're doing is this book right here, Perfect Puppy in 7 Days. You can get it on Amazon. So if you wanted to follow along, it talks a lot about the tethering that we're doing, the kennel stuff. I'm working on him offering to go into the kennel on his own. Lucy's working on that as well. Basically, it's a control thing. He just needs to choose to go into the crate, but later on, if he's choosing the crate, I can use it as a stationary reward, kind of like a platform. So basically, if he's in the crate with the door open, he'll get cookies for staying. So I can start using that as a place for him to stay, and that'll be good. So he's working on that. But again, that book mostly covers the things that we're doing as far as kind of working on the satelliting, the pottying, the going in and out and just getting into a routine. The next couple of weeks we're going to be moving into a different phase where we are just going to be working more on what you saw there towards the end. You know, working for things in my hand, the engagement, the focus. Can he keep working? And with puppies it's hard just because their brains are not as developed at this point. So we just got to keep it lighthearted and fun. We'll start adding in a little more formal leash things, although we've been working on that and he's done fairly well with that as well. So, but anyways, that's where he is. He's been good in the house. We've only had a couple of tiny little accidents in the crate. He's sleeping through the night, and by sleeping through the night I mean we'll put him out 10, 11 o'clock at night. We'll either take him out front or we'll let him go in the backyard with Lucy. And then we'll bring them in and put them in their crates. And so anyways, between 10 and 11 is when we're doing that, and then he'll wake up about 6:30 or 7. I'm trying to make sure he's not cueing off of the alarms that I set. So we'll set the alarm, it goes off, I wait, and then I let them out because I don't want them anticipating the alarm in case you ever plan on wanting to sleep in. Anyway, so he's doing really, really well. He's eating really well. You can tell in the videos he's starting to get a little bit taller. He's getting a little bit more leggy. And so I expect that he'll start filling out shortly. And other than that, he's doing really well. We're just working a lot on our off-leash stuff. So see you next week.